pilotage into and out of Baltasound was so simple that we don't think it's worth doing pilotage videos. The route down from Baltasound to Lerwick was an interesting one, but not challenging. There were some islands to pick our way through, which kept it interesting, and it was mostly line of sight navigation. A very pretty route and very enjoyable. As always, there were things to catch out the unwary. Most notable of these was that Lerwick require you to call before entering their control zone, and the control zone starts quite a long way north of the entry to the port. I added a waypoint to make this harder to forget. If you look at the drawing in the Welcome Anchorages book that gets passed to you at your first port of call in Scotland, it's very easy to misunderstand what you're seeing when you arrive in the port, because the drawing given to you shows you just one segment of the port. There are two stone jetties that look very similar if you haven't taken the care to navigate on your app all the way to where you're going, rather than lazily as I did just to the heart of the dock. So when cleared to go to the fuel dock, I then went into the fish market because it looked the same shape. I was a bit embarrassed, but nobody minded, and off we went down to the correct dock. The lesson is, plan the route all the way to where you're going, in this case further down, about a half a mile further down, into the similarly shaped Albert Dock, not the fish dock.
We're still in Lerwick, which I have to say is quite unpleasant. It's not a harbour that we'd come back to. The weather's been awful today, which doesn't help. It's been wet and raining, and after a really bad night's sleep, it's just felt a bit horrible. So the reason that I didn't sleep very well last night was because we've had the wind, to use the technical term, right up the chuff, which meant that the waves were slapping. You can hear it now, coming up through the swim platform, banging, slapping against the boat, and just making a right old racket. And the lines were jarring, and the fenders were squeaking. The fenders, you can see, we're rafted up to the people next door, and there's quite a strict etiquette when you raft up to another boat. Obviously, plenty of fenders, because we don't want to do any damage to his boat, but the only line that goes from our boat to his boat is on the mid line. The bow and stern lines both go directly to shore. There's a lot going on over there. I've got some racers in behind us, and the problem with the reason that the stern and bow lines go directly to shore is so that the boat that you're rafted to isn't taking your whole weight. But then you can see as we're moving in and out, that goes tight and it jars, and the banging and the slapping was just awful. And then to top it all today, because we've got cruise ships in here, there's a small one there was a bigger one across the other side of the harbour. They've been bringing in their passengers in Liberty boats all day long, so we've had wash as well, and it's just been really uncomfortable. So yeah, wouldn't recommend Lerwick. Don't come to Lerwick. That's my advice.
To be fair to Lerwick, our stay there would have been much better had we been in the other visitor section, which is just the other side of the Albert Dock wall, and here it's sheltered from all directions, and there are no tenders coming and going and creating all that wash. Also, the wind was from a very unusual direction. After everyone had moored up, it backed to be north-northeast, giving it a half-mile fetch, which is what created such terrible conditions. So it's not all Lerwick's fault. Hope you found that useful or enjoyable, or even better, both. If so, please come back soon. Remember, click like, click subscribe, and click that bell icon. All these things really help the channel to grow. Do come back soon.